been a while, and I don't know. Me and Gary were talking. We might change the name. Just have like horror when the guests I'm on. And I was thinking about like what we should do. Like, should it be like two people just talking on the phone, like two writers talking on the phone? You know?
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I think when we don't have a guest, then we can just talk about what we've been up to.
It says horror, so it's almost as if we should be talking about horror things, but we're horror writers. But then I don't know. But New Year's is happening tomorrow. Christmas just passed. What did you get from Santa Claus?
Personally, I did okay. The kids obviously got loads of stuff off us and from family and so on and so forth. Came down Christmas morning and the front of the mantelpiece was just full of presents and stuff. I got some Hammer House of Horror socks. So I got some socks with like Christopher Lee on the front, you know, like as Dracula.
Yeah.
And as Frankenstein and stuff. Like official Hammer House of Horror socks. And I got a Rick and Morty pen. I like Rick and Morty. And I got a new Herschel wallet, because I needed a new wallet. I used to have a Walking Dead wallet, and Lisa sort of said, you know, she knew I liked Herschel sort of stuff. She bought me a Herschel wash bag for back in the day when I used to travel a lot with work. It's really good quality stuff, and it's really well designed. It's really, really good. So she got this Herschel wallet. They cost about $50 or something, maybe a little bit more. So she got me that, and a Manchester United pen as well, because I'm a Manchester United fan. And I got chocolates and stuff like that as well, family.
Oh, nice.
Yorkshire ale flavoured fudge, things like that. So, I mean, as you get older, you tend not to buy each other as much anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I bought Lisa a Pandora necklace.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have Pandora in the States.
Yeah, I got my wife the what's that? The bracelet.
Yeah.
And you could put those little beads onto it and build on it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like a bracelet as well. She's got the charm bracelet as well. But I got that ages ago. But yeah, it's just like a necklace type thing that I bought her.
Yeah. I mean, I got mostly, the biggest thing I got was a Kindle.
Cool.
The new Oasis one. Yeah, I mean, mostly that's the only thing. I got this. She got me this. It's like a selfie stick, but it's not really a selfie stick. It's a stand for your phone. So I don't even know what I'm going to do with it yet, but if I do videos or something, I can use this. It extends out, so you can hold it away from you, so it looks like someone else's video recording you or something. It also has a tripod, so if it goes into tripod mode, it goes back into itself, and then you put it on the desk, and you can, like, you know, make videos and stuff like that.
Sounds very cool.
Yeah, and mostly just money and gift cards. It's mostly for like the kids, you know.
What did the little one get them?
She got a whole bunch of these LOL things. It's like
that's really popular over here as well. You know, the capsules.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can see the fun in opening it, and then little by little getting these little things out that turn into a doll with, you know, accessories and such. But I don't know, man. It's just, I guess when we were kids, they were saying the same thing about our toys, so.
It's the same like, with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
My dad was like, oh, it's just a fad, you know?
Yeah. So then that was that. You know, I was working the whole week at work. I'm working tomorrow, New Year's Eve.
Oh, not good, man. Not good.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, at least it's, you know, I'm getting some writing done because it's so dead over there. It's just there's no one there. It's like a ghost town. It's easy to get in, easy to get out. The easiest of the time of the year for the city. Besides summertime when the kids are out of school, then the traffic just like kind of slows down. But this time of the year, there's like virtually no traffic. You could just zoom into the city and be in and out of like within a half an hour.
Would you say that it's the most wonderful time of the year?
For the traffic, yes. I never had a fireplace growing up, and then when we got a house and everything, because it's a whole bunch of reasons why. I mean, this financially, it's the same thing almost as an apartment. You're just putting money into something instead of paying, you know, an owner to rent a place. But basically, you know, once we got the fireplace, it's just, I used to be like, oh man, you know, the fireplace. I haven't even turned it on once this year.
I've always fancied a wood burner.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, just for heat, right?
Yeah. One of my friends has got a wood burner, and it's really nice. It's really toasty. It's when we eventually move house, we currently live in a little 2 up, 2 down, semi-detached.
Yeah.
We've got a mortgage on, and I don't know what's going to happen with Brexit and stuff. They think that house price is going to drop and stuff, which is going to be a bit of a disaster. But we were kind of hoping to move house within the next couple of years when Evie's out of nursery, and we're not paying for that. And when we get a newer, hopefully slightly bigger house, we're going to get like a log burner, a wood burner. I've always kind of fancied one.
Like, it's not as aesthetically pleasing as a fireplace, no?
Yeah. And what's good about it is it does keep the place nice and toasty, particularly the room that it's in.
Yeah.
And it's quite sort of sustainable. You just get wood in and you burn it, and obviously you're not incurring any sort of utility bills, electricity or gas.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you got to pay for the chimney to be cleaned occasionally.
Yeah, we paid for the chimney to get cleaned like 4 years ago, but the thing is, it says you can have like 500 uses, and like I literally since then I think I literally did like 30, not even, all those years. Yeah, like I don't use it every day. I just use it, to read a book once in a while, or just occasional. On a video game note, I was looking again at the Resident Evil 2, and it's looking really good. Like they're showing more of the Mr. X, and they actually showed a little bit William Birkin. They show his character, and it's insane. Like it just looks so insane, like fully rendered in 3D and everything. The dynamics of how when you shoot a zombie, you don't see like just blood automatically come on the corpse. You see their hand blow off, and you see like the skin hanging from it, and then if you shoot their chin, like you see half their face come off, but it's exactly where you shot. Like it's just it's like so dynamic, and it looks real. Like you can I'm assuming every time you shoot a zombie, it's gonna always look different. It's just insane looking. I mean, it comes out I think January 11th or so, and I'm definitely.
That's on Xbox and PS4, right?
Yeah. Unless they bring it to the Switch, but it might not come immediately. But
no, I can't see it because it's a bit underpowered, the Switch, isn't it? Compared to that.
Well, it's pretty powerful. I mean, to be honest with you, so that's another thing. You were telling me you had the Nvidia, right? The
Shield.
The Shield.
Yeah.
Did you know that the architecture and the chipset in the Shield is the same? Is pretty much the same, actually. I think it's a little upgraded as the Switch.
It is. It's a Tegra processor in it. Which is the same.
So that's pretty powerful. I'm sure, and Nintendo knows how to tweak their stuff. I mean, this is Capcom, but Nintendo knows how to tweak their stuff to get the most out of it. I mean, these new chips are mostly, you just take something, maybe change the code, drop it on another system. I don't think.
Well, before my dad just brought a couple of boxes to my house the other day, and he in one of them there was a Super Nintendo with some games, which is my childhood console, and then my N64 that I used to have as well.
Yeah.
And on the N64 there was the Resident Evil 2 port for that. And at the time, Resident Evil 2 was it was too complex to fit on the Nintendo N64.
Yeah.
But they did a special 32 megabyte cartridge for it.
Yeah.
But you needed the expansion chip in the I don't know if you remember that on the N64. You get like a little expansion chip that you put in the front of it. It required that to play it. But they somehow managed to squeeze it into a cartridge, which at the time was thought of like impossible.
Yeah. I think it was like a RAM chip that the expansion. It was like for RAM.
Yeah, and I remember playing it on the N64 and being really, really impressed by it. But at the time when it came out, Resident Evil 3 was already out, on PS, whatever it was, and on PC as well.
Yeah. I think it was PS1 at that time.
It was, so it was a little bit behind, but it was really cool to be able to play that sort of thing on that console.
Yeah, the N64, I mean, that was a wonderful system. I remember wanting the 3D Mario when it first came out. And recently I just saw this other guy on YouTube. I think his name is Metal Jesus, and he talks about video games and stuff. And he has this, he talks about the HDMI port. He had it recently done where he put an HDMI port into his N64, and it makes it like much clearer.
Wow, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you have to know how to solder, and there's a lot of stuff you have to do on the inside of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a few games for the N64, but I don't think N64 games look as nice as the SNES games do. You know, when you look back at them, because of the polygons and all that, it was quite sort of experimental sort of technology, I suppose.
Well, when they did 2D, if they did side-scrolling, then it was much better. But when they did the 3D stuff, obviously the 3D stuff, they were trying to like really blaze a trail.
Yeah, and it just doesn't look as. It's like the new PlayStation 1 Portable, whatever it's called. You know, the new mini one that they've released.
Yeah.
The games on that don't really look as exciting as the Super Nintendo Mini or the Nintendo Mini.
Yeah.
Just because I think pixel art is a lot more sort of. It stands the test of time a little bit better, I think, than polygonal sort of artwork. Just because polygons have been improved since then. The technology's evolved, whereas pixels, there's only so much you can do with pixel art. And on some consoles they've sort of managed to sort of push what you can do with pixels, and it just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But at the time, the Super Nintendo with Mode 7, so as they called it, you could sort of rotate around a two-dimensional thing. At the time, that was like amazing, and even now when you sort of play Super Nintendo games, it still looks really, really nice. In fact, I'd really like to get the Super Nintendo Mini. I've got the NES Mini, but I've not got the Super Nintendo Mini yet.
Well, I've paid for that online thing. Actually, I got it as a gift. It was a gift card. I think the year is like $20, and I don't realize I never realized how fun the first Zelda was. Like, I'm playing that thing like it's and I know I'm learning everything. I'm finding everything. I think looking at it from an adult mind, it's a little different, because now you're like, oh, I need that, and I found that over there, and I got to go back to that area, and then I have to do this and this. So it's definitely a much interesting, and then they have all the old games, and I think they're going to start getting the SNES games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I hope so. 'Cause the Super Nintendo for me is like the golden age of video gaming. The Super Nintendo was just a fantastic console, and I think everything peaked then. I think a lot of the enthusiasm I had for the N64 and the GameCube was just about how neat the graphics were.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of sort of gameplay, you can't beat those sort of games. Yeah. The Super Nintendo peaked. I don't think it's sort of got any better than that, in terms of any game out there that you really, really enjoy is still comparable in terms of enjoyment to games like Super Mario World or, I don't know, Star Fox or Cannon Fodder or, any of these games you could quite easily play on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I think in terms of enjoyment, Super Nintendo hit peak. That was as good as it got for me.
Yeah. Well, they did also wait, too. They waited a long time. The NES was going against the Genesis for a while, and then they brought out the Super Nintendo, and every mistake that Genesis did, they kind of knew what to do. But Genesis did have speed. That's one thing that they, with the Sonic, and they did boast.
Yeah.
They boasted about that.
But it's funny how sort of as good as the Genesis, what we called it the Mega Drive over it.
Oh yeah.
But as much there was a Master System, which was the initial one, and there was the Mega Drive. But as far as Genesis sort of pushed it, Mega Drive sort of pushed it. It's when you look back on it, hindsight is a wonderful thing. You can sort of it depends on whether things stand the test of time. And looking back, Nintendo is as strong as ever, but Sega is a little bit sort of by the by.
Yeah.
There's still good games, but I struggle to compare the two.
Yeah. Now,
but at the time, they were like. But saying that though, the Super Nintendo was up against the PlayStation 1 for a while. And it held its own. You had games like Chrono Trigger and Super Mario RPG, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The 3D sort of rendered graphics that sort of they took on from games like Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2, and this sort of rendered 3D sort of gameplay. That's I almost said Banjo-Kazooie, but that's N64. But this rendered sort of 3D gameplay that Rare did, that was made over here in England.
Yeah.
They did a lot of the servers were over here, and They
Oh
went to a
wow.
place called Twycross Zoo for Donkey Kong Country, and they filmed the chimps and the primates there. Sort of took that information and made it into, you know, information they could use for the game.
Yeah, I never knew that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, rare English. Yeah. So, but yeah, games like Donkey Kong Country and sort of 3D rendered sort of games, sort of Super Mario RPG, pushed up against the PlayStation 1 for a little while. But at the end of the day, people wanted to move with three-dimensional sort of technology, and you had your Resident Evil 2, which was an absolute sort of deal breaker for some people, and we sort of moved on to that. But yeah, the N64 was a good console, man. I'll never forget the first time I played it. The first time I held that weird controller with a little mushroom control stick in the middle, and my friend, who was a little bit more well off than I was, he was the first to get it, you know, on launch day. I can't remember when launch day was, but I had to wait till Christmas to get mine. I remember him coming over and we played Mario 64 on it, and just to sort of see this world you could explore, and you were restricted by anything at the time. It was quite sort of unique. I mean, I suppose PlayStation owners would argue that they were doing it in their world a lot sooner than that, but it was just so magical. You could tweak the Mario face and all that.
Yeah.
Which was pretty amazing.
I had just did a post about that. The guy who did the Mario voice. It was.
Oh yeah. The voice.
Charles Martinet.
Charles Martinet. So. Yeah, he did the voice, and you could tweak his nose and his ears, and it's like, wow. And it was so intuitive, that control stick as well. You could hold it about 3 different ways, and they all worked.
Yeah. On that note, tomorrow's New Year's Eve. I got to get up super early in the morning, probably like 4 in the morning.
Oh, man. I don't envy it. I'm off tomorrow. I've been off over Christmas, which is a little perk of my job. You know, you don't go in over Christmas. It's a university, so it costs them money to heat the building up, you know, to get people in there. So when there's the students out there, there's no point the staff being there as well. So,
yeah, exactly.
They just sort of kick us out over Christmas, but I'm kind of lucky. I'm not back in work till Wednesday.
Oh, nice. Yeah, me too. Well, after the New Year's, Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Then the fun begins.
So anyway, anyone listening, I hope you had a really good Christmas, and you too, Will.
All right, so I'm gonna go cut this up, and I'll see you next time.
See you, man. Have a good one. Ho, ho, ho.